Okay. Special meeting of the city council of the city of Kershaw, Texas, being held today, Tuesday, August the 4th, 2026, at 6 p.m. at the Kershaw City Hall, 214 South Ash Street, Kershaw, Texas, is now called to order. We do have a quorum. We'll start off with Councilman Sonia Hernandez. Here. Councilman Rodney Lucio. Here. Councilman Rachel Garza. Here. And Councilman Trevino. Yeah, they said at the ethics at the Robert's Rule of Order, said you can call them by first name, last name, doesn't matter, doesn't be anything. So we do have a quorum. With that being said, let's go ahead and do the invocation and the pledge of allegiance. Okay, Heavenly Father, we ask you for your wisdom, your guidance tonight as we gather to serve our community. Grant us clarity in your decisions, in our decisions, humility in our discussions, and the courage to always act in the best interest of our residents. May our work tonight reflect the true spirit of leadership and dedication to the people we represent. In your name, amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah. Hey, going to item 4, citizens to be heard. No citizens to be heard. We move on to the mayor's message. No mayor's message on this one. We'll do it on Tuesday. The next one on the regular meeting. Agenda number 6A, discuss infrastructure, capital improvement projects, and related budgets. Where we at, Brett?
Mayor Council, there's a presentation that's worked up and it's pretty simple, but I want to make sure on this end, when we're talking about budgets to relate with this, what I'm going to show y'all has nothing to do with, when I say have nothing to do, it is not part of your operating budget. So when we talk about as part of the budget process and what we're doing, approving the budget, this is already stuff that's been approved, but it's separate from your operating budget. So I want to make sure, go over for the newly elected officials and for others, a reminder of where we are with some of these projects and the funding. And some of y'all know this is taking a long time to secure this funding, but we're finally getting somewhere. We're in a very good spot. But I'm saying that I'm going to go over the slide, so it's really quick. 4 or 5 slides. If you have any questions about anything, there's been questions about where all this money's going or who's getting where it's where it's at or whatever. All this money, most of this money is in escrow. So what I mean by that is that means the agency that's funding it is the agency that's holding on to the money. We have to get approvals from them whenever we're asking for payment for engineer, the construction, whatever the case may be, anything related to the projects. So as y'all know, some of y'all know, we were awarded a grant from the General Land Office, and that is a total grant, and it's a non-competitive grant that we secured, and that amount is $2.134 million. And so I'm giving you a general description of what this project is. There's more details, and you're welcome to ask any questions. If I can't help you answer, have Hector and probably others that may be able to help. But anyway, the purpose of this grant is one, and this is a grant that's the construction of a water well located behind the police department. We're looking at first quarter of 2027 for the construction. We were hoping that would be done this fiscal year, this calendar year, but we've had some difficulties. The engineers had some difficulties finishing up the design. So we're looking to construct the first quarter of 2027, and this well we're looking at it to produce about 1,200 gallons of water per minute. So again, that's one project, one grant that we were awarded. You go to the next slide. This is the water line project. Well, the water line project, excuse me, more than one. So the funding source agency for this is the Texas Water Development Board. The type of funding that it was, it's a low interest loan forgiveness grant. So with that, what I mean by competitive means we have to compete against other communities. It's not just this doesn't just automatically happen. You have to put in your application, you have to go through a process. And so this grant was competitive. Grant/loan was competitive. Not everybody in the state of Texas gets this. So we put in the work, staff, our consultant, or we all put in the work to get this done. That amount was $7.4 million. So, and this may get a little confusing, but so I want to make sure that the council understands what's happening with this money and where it's going. So these dollars right now are going for the construction of the water line, the Business 35. And it's also going for the replacement of a main line on Colorado Street. That line right now, Hector, how old is that line? I mean, what's the size of the line right now? It's a 10-inch line. I think we're moving up to a 12-inch line. But we want to come in and replace that line, okay? So that on the project that it's currently construction of Business 35. The project is about 80% complete. They put in most of the sanitary sewer. And they've got about 2,000 linear feet of water line to put in. And after they do that, they're gonna come in and put in the lift stations. So in the next few months, we're gonna come to the council to get with you all on connections and how there's gonna be some challenges out there. I'll tell you all that right now as far as connecting water and wastewater to some of these people out there in those areas. So we're gonna come to y'all to see how the best way to do it. And the connections are not part of this. And what I mean by that is there's gonna be some additional funds that we're probably gonna have to use to connect people somehow. Honestly, I don't have a true plan how that's gonna work because some of the areas out there have been poorly subdivided. And it makes it a challenge for us to figure out how we're gonna run what we call our lateral lines to service these people. So we're gonna work on that and try to give the best advice and suggestions for that, but that is gonna be a challenge. But the actual line, the main, is pretty much built.
So is there a chance that maybe that line, that money that came for that project that we talked about last time, that there, whatever it's maybe left over that just been completed, that maybe we can use it for something like that to help out?
We're gonna ask the Water Development Board if they can do that, and so what we're gonna look at, Mayor, one of the options we're looking at is securing more easements out there to build the laterals and then let people. One of the ideas is to let them connect to that lateral. So for instance, right now it's an 8-inch line. And so the laterals would run, you have your Business 35, the main line runs this way. So your laterals will run almost into private property, but we need to secure the easements in order to run the water and sewer into the properties. You know, you have some of the people that built out there that don't have, it's hard to get them access because of the way they cut the properties up. So there's no easements, some of these areas. And so we're gonna, to answer your question, Mayor, we're gonna work and see if they're willing lines and allow.
I did ask remember I told you I had that city manager from Bernie sitting next to me the whole time. And I did ask him about if they had any issues like that and how they end up, people not wanting to connect because this and that. And he said, yes, they had the same problem and they had to come up with a discount deal that they did it with some type of discount formula that they use or whatever.
Yeah,
So
I'll move on that, and that'll be another consideration. There's gonna be people that are, they're gonna have some challenges. Quite frankly, most of them will not have, most of them will not have a problem wanting to connect to water. Most of them will want to connect, and my assumption is most of them will probably pay for that. They'll have a challenge to connect. But even then, you might have some that might not have the money or resources to connect.
that's the main ones are gonna be the ones that don't have the money at the.
So you have,
One of them that say I just put my what do you call that? Septics, stuff, put my sick, all that, so. Those are the ones with low income, I guess, that we're having to maybe do something for.
yes, sir. So we have that, and then we have, again, the other, what's getting a little confusing on this, so where who gets a little confusing is the total project cost for that right now is $9.43 million. But that's water and wastewater. So if you look at that, the estimated cost is so of that, of what we need, the $7.4 million, we're anticipating that $3 million of it is going to be used for this project, for the Business 35. So which leaves about a little over $4 million, give or take, for that $7.4 million. So if you go to the next slide, this is the other funding source, another funding amount. We received a Water Development Board, the type of funding, same thing, that was competitive. That one took us longer to get. It felt like it took 2 or 3 years. The total amount is $16.1 million. Again, the improvements are to, wastewater line that runs out of Business 35, and then the other part, so the total cost is not, so that leaves us about, of the $16 million, that estimated amount that we should use out of the 16 for the Business 35 for wastewater is about $6.5 million. It's gonna leave us roughly around, give or take, around nine to $10 million to do projects at the wastewater treatment plant, which we intend to bring to the council. So part of what we're talking about is part of what I brought up to y'all as far as the improvements out there. Part of that would be a consideration is the treatment of the water, but there's a lot more. We can go on, we can give you a whole list, I'm sure Hector can too, of things that we need to do at the wastewater treatment plant. It's a lot of money, but it is money that's gonna be, to me, we should have, some of the improvements should have been done a long time ago. So anyway, that's what we got as far as the $16 million. So you go to the next slide.
And before we go on, I mentioned to the council this year, that's from the previous council that mentioned that to some of the leaders that were there and at the conference, that I walked into some really good money, that I've done and they said like they praised it for the size of our community, that money that we've got and all that. So I commend you guys for doing what you did there to get all that stuff for us right there. That said a lot. So
This next one, the other opportunities, I want to make sure we just applied for this. Actually, we have two applications, but this is one, this is another, it's called a SWIG, but I guess we'll see, Crystal corrected me, somebody corrected me. Anyway, but it's other funding for the Water Development Board. And that's, we submitted a application last month. I don't know if y'all read up on the state of Texas authorized $1 billion to be used for, yearly for infrastructure projects. This is part of that $1 billion. So what we're asking for is for an additional 4.86 million, which is all grant funding. And the use of that would be to replace our water meters throughout the city and the construction of a water line that stretches from refuel to HEB. So that's estimated at about 4.686 million. And so that's what we're hoping for. We think we have a good chance. I believe we have a good opportunity and a good chance to secure that funding. You go to the next one. We also intend to apply for a CDBG grant. We are going to come to the council to secure a grant writer to help us apply for that. We'd like to recommend on that to apply for funding for irrigation system, for the reuse irrigation system out of the complex. We'd like to, I believe, Crystal, I think they gave us things, priorities that they were, CDBG was looking for this year. What were the priorities? Do you remember?
The main one was, senior centers, youth activity centers. Unfortunately, infrastructure was not rated very high. They hit like a 2 or a 1. As far as flood, infrastructure, wastewater, water, activity centers, things of that nature scored 3. So they were held in higher priority.
So I think on this, we as far as our application, I think we can basically write into where we are saying it's for youth, it's for sports events. So we're looking at that, and then so that's another some other funding that we're looking at securing this coming year. We'll apply, and then the final thing, there's about $25 million for various water and wastewater projects. And again, all of these projects are in various stages of the construction process. There's some that are more ahead than others, but we do anticipate utilizing most of the funding, all of the funding. And then we have, again, an additional $5 million, give or take, that we're looking for future. So all in all, it's about $30 million that we're looking at. And so again, I know it gets confusing sometimes because people are wondering, what's in all this money. I hate to say it, I'd love to think it's in our bank account, but it's not. It's in escrow. And as we get approval for funding, we get it. And
this is all in-house grants y'all have been.
a lot of it, most of it is, yes, ma'am. Most of it has been we have with UCD and Smith some, but a lot of the legwork is right in this.
Yeah.
Uh,
Awesome, and I
Yeah,
appreciate
so,
that.
Yeah.
Hard work that y'all are doing.
so anyway, I just wanted to share that with y'all. If there's any questions from constituents?
I know y'all aren't recognized and it's not being published or anything, but we appreciate that, you know, it is very appreciated by y'all, that the hard work that y'all are doing for the community.
So it's a lot of money, and again, I mean, I hate to say it, we are excited, it's a lot of work, but in saying that, I just wanna make sure that you guys were aware that if there's any constituents that have questions about any projects, or money, where it's going, please feel free, and I don't mind going into details. I'm sure we can spend time with any.
Yeah, definitely. But can you give us a list of those people that engaged in that grant writing to get all this stuff, or maybe recognize them on?
And the stuff that's actually coming to Fairfield, a
Yeah.
lot of people take credit for stuff, and it's not
Yeah,
about credit,
yeah.
it's about bringing stuff to the community.
Yeah, so we can recognize them next meeting or one of these meetings.
We can, yes, sir, we can, yes, all right, thank you.
Right, I have one question real quick, it doesn't pertain to this, but like that grant that they published in the paper, whatever. What specifically can that be used for? Cause I'm just kind of confused on that,
Which one is that?
the one that they put, that we got, the one that they put those
Oh,
paper.
Parks and Wildlife?
Yes,
That is something that's used at the complex, and so with that.
and it's just complex,
For the most part, yes, ma'am. It's, like, whenever we write the application, we have to be somewhat specific as to what we're gonna use it for. So, because it is a Parks and Wildlife grant, you have to specify, hey, this is what it's gonna go for, this is what we're gonna do. So all the things that we put in the application, we're trying to accomplish. I don't know that we will for budget reasons, but we're gonna try to, once we go out for bid and get the scope of the work and get somebody to bid on it, we'll have an idea of how much we can do, but we anticipate using all the money. For that, but yes, to answer your question, most usually it'll be for the.
it's just a bit of fun, asking, like, when we expect that multi-purpose thing, like. In order to have everything like maybe for the elderly or the veterans, or you know, the veterans, and then a pool and all that, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, that part of it, again, this was for the existing complex. It's going to actually a lot of remodel we have of the existing complex. And then
Going around building.
there are some other improvements we can make. And in fairness on that, is there's some things that we can do. There's not a lot, there's some grants out there that we can apply for that can maybe help for senior programs, but they're not, a lot of them are just for like to build something, right? Not as far as actual operations of a program or getting people to actually run a senior center. That does require some money, but in saying that we can look at those.
And like the complex, remember when we went, Sonny, I remember when we went to that, TML that one year, when they had that turf and those real nice, things for the kids and all that other stuff, is that fall into that too,
As far as
for the complex?
the playground,
Yeah, like, remember you were with us when we visited, and they had this big ass, sorry, those big old things, the big old
Like,
swings and back,
Yes.
things.
The shaded
They said they
area.
could put the shaded area, and they said they could put a pool. and all
The
that.
inclusive playground equipment, the splash pad, things of that nature, yes.
There's some real exercise stations here and there around around the walking trail.
so we'll keep.
We'll keep improvements on that.
Keep at it.
That's good. Yep, all right, yeah, definitely. Anybody have any questions for Fred? Okay, let's move on. 7, new business. Discuss and consider acceptance of the 2026 certified tax roll for the city of Pearsall. We'll stand that. What do you got for us?
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. With the proposed budget that we are bringing to y'all, it would require a modest adjustment from about 0.86 cents to 88 cents.
Want to go over the values real quick? I think that's the value. That is just tax roll.
Oh, okay.
I guess that. Do you have any questions about how the tax roll itself? I'm sorry.
Yeah, but just our part explain the difference between last year's and
Last year's to this year, we decreased the taxable value by about 14 million.
This is the first year I remember that we did decrease all value, so we lost value this year, since at least for the past 5 or 6, 7 years, however long I've been here, but this values of all, this year's been the first year that I can recall that we lost value. What we looked at, and I think we can agree that we lost most of the value is in the interventions, part of that that first page there. We haven't drilled as to why, we tell us what the exemptions are that may cause an increase. But anyway, there is a decrease in Brooker Drive, of about $14 million, on value enforcement investment. So, anyway, that's what we have as far as the appraisal rule. I know there are any questions about anything specific about the.
I guess my only question is going to be is, I'm assuming it's gonna have an impact on what was presented in departments. And what the priority is gonna be as far as what are we focusing on it, are we gonna be talking about increase rates and things like that?
She was jumping into that, we got.
There'll be some adjustments.
Y'all candidates approve the role, and we can just talk about it, and that's right, that's okay. Guys, I accept that, if y'all, you accept.
But you saying that, our property value is going down mainly because of what again?
Exemptions.
Exemptions.
Yes, so those, that section there, it's almost, it's
I could find a little bit for us, for the vehicles. Just a little bit. I can't see, I can see the loneliness, but I can't. I feel it now. So, yeah. The exemptions, the elderly.
I think the biggest change, if I remember correctly, was in that less exemption public property.
That was the last.
$9 million.
What's gonna help, what's gonna help it go up are all these houses that have been out of.
I hope so. I hope that's.
Because the values, the values and the tax values,
Awesome. What house?
with the home program, that's gonna increase property
Yeah,
taxes and stuff.
Sonia's part of the, well, I don't know, did they give you all, she's just, Sonia's from the president, but I don't know if they gave you all the reason why we lost value, but I don't know, I haven't asked that appraiser chief, so. Did they get on the appraisers?
We're having a meeting tomorrow.
Oh.
So,
I've answered by duty. I haven't seen these.
We kind of knew that this was coming, as far as changes within. At the state and national level, we knew that this was gonna come back and, all cities and big counties were all prepared for. The numbers coming back, starting beginning this year was not gonna be, to the level to where we were used to before. So I think it's being impacted all across pretty much.
Yeah.
One of the things that they're discussing at the state level is they already drew a lot back, but they're looking at the complete elimination of set of property taxes. That is the government office and those, I don't know how other cities would operate without the elimination of property. They're discussing that this legislative session. So to your point, Councilmember, some of the things that they may together, what they may do again at the state level, and I'm assuming it's part of this, again, I'm not sure. That part of that is the more they have an exemption, which is not a bad thing, if they want to be an exempt, right? It's the folks that don't have anything, that are gonna have to pay more. So I'm saying that, they're looking at either eliminating and or having more exemptions, so if you have a $10,000 exemption to your homestead, it could go up to 50,000. Or, so that basically is, they're basically taking more value and making it tougher for you to do things that you need to do from an operating standpoint.
So with that being said, Fred, going back to your previous item and looking at grant funding, I guess this would be the opportunity to say, you know what, we're going to have to now really tackle grants. And what free money we can get our hands on. So, and I would say at this point, we should consider somebody a permanent grant writer for the city of Pearson. To just focus on that free money, because I'm sure that a lot of this funding is gonna be triggered now to move towards grants in make the states and make the cities work for that and go after that grant funding to help them offset what's not gonna be there no more. So, are we considering possibly a permanent?
We've looked, I've considered it, and something on there, the challenge for us sometimes is, of course, hiring that person and then, adding to the budget. And then, the other part is hopefully seeing the benefit. we've seen some benefits for some of the grants we applied for, and then some of them we applied for, we don't get. We've done this competition. So it's competitive, and then having somebody that has the skill set to help prepare the grants. So a lot of times, smaller communities like us, we basically outsource all the grants we don't apply for. But in saying that, we're looking at hiring somebody, a full-time grant writer. We make an asset to the budget, see what it looks like, and then, again, we just, we need to know. What I've run into, what I've seen is most of the grants, they do not help fund. They do not help fund your day-to-day operating expenses. They're not gonna do it. They will fund for part of it, like for example, PD, they will help fund, the program we have with, what is the program for the officers or something? The contract. They'll help fund it, but it'll be for a certain amount of years, and after that, we have to fund it. Same applies for most grants, is they'll run for a year or two, where they'll help fund personnel. As y'all know, most of y'all know, most government entities, 70 to 80% of their operating budget is personnel.
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, that's just what it
That's
is.
where you save your money.
So that's really, we have to, gauge, how many employees we wanna have, we wanna employ, and if we're gonna have a grant writer, because if the idea is to just hire that person to secure things that are gonna help with operating expenses. Maybe consideration, I don't know how many of those grants would be out, but we can look.
Yeah.
Look this.
See, if I may say, you know, that back in first term I was mayor, I had hired one in-house. It's all right at the very beginning, but then it just, it wasn't, I mean, we ended up paying more than what that wasn't actually getting out there. We get it. Do some of these grant writers, can they get paid off of the grant, right? They get paid off of the grant, all they submit, so maybe, I guess some of those guys that are pretty good, I know some are pretty good, get them on board, just, hey, do the grant.
Yeah. There's some, because we've been, as the council,
Yeah.
we've been focusing, as y'all can tell, a lot of infrastructure grants, that's what we've been focusing on. So most of it has been infrastructure, but we sometimes, quite frankly, we neglect things, I know the mayor brought it, when he's right, others are right, about like our, sirens, there's, our sirens need work, our emergency management stuff needs work. Things that we don't think about parks and wildlife very much, we apply for them, but we don't, it's not something that we focus on. Fire departments, we won't focus on the equipment for them sometimes. So we do apply for some grants, but it's not. So there's things that, I hate to use the word neglect, but we just don't, they're just not the priority. I mean, that's just these funds.
Yeah, I just know we missed some opportunities and, yeah, we haven't been worried about when it comes back to earmark grants, those bigger grants that I wish we could just focus on. Perhaps maybe to just focus on, I know that we have an agency, and that's another topic as well, but it's something that I think, and I know majority of you guys have noticed, but a lot of the surrounding cities have been receiving those big funding, LaSalle.
But I'm gonna be honest with you, you know what affected us, I think, most was, Hidden helped a lot. We lost that connection to this area, and moving out over there, well, to Zapata and all those, and he's still putting them out like hotcakes, man. He was, I saw the paper in Zapata, man, he had a big old $1 billion check.
Yeah, big grants coming in from. When he was converted, somebody messed that up, right?
Yeah, he was good. I mean, it was just often, and then we had this other one over here, and all the problems that happened, it just did. We just weren't in the right path. But hopefully it'll change.
So I have a question though, has Ernie produced anything for us lately?
Uh,
EMC, not Ernie, but EMC?
They applied for some smaller grants, and we've been successful with some of them, the COG, they're done, they don't quite a few grants for the people, probably 4 or 5, I think they rewarded. Any congressional earmarks, no, we have not
This is-
one. He's applied for there's a gas grant. And there's another grant, there may be another grant that we may be applying for, but overall,
And this is where I'm going with this, my thing is,
is that we get people, and yes, it was fine and dandy the first year, the second year, whatever. But when you hire somebody, I've already noticed that now with experience within the years, get somebody, when they're covering a lot of counties. You know, we could be at the bottom of the barrel, correct me if I'm wrong, and the other counties are getting stuff and they're working for the same people. So maybe we need to look into getting somebody that would focus on this and doesn't have so many people under their belt, like to do, you know what I mean? Cause you're having to work, I mean, look when we went to Washington, and I like her, I like it, don't get me wrong, we haven't had anything for this lately. Look at all the counties that they had, all the people who take care, I mean, that's a good thing, but then, you know what are we doing? You understand what I'm trying to say?
Just like I was just saying, Congress Tony Gonzalez had a big one for us, but somebody had to screw it.
Oh, yeah, that too.
So.
They don't know how people know how to get their mouth cut by it, and it ruins it for our community. They're not hurting us, they're hurting our community.
Exactly.
I'll look at that, there's, you know, Mary, that's just that all time. We wanted to get y'all the tax roll, again, we're asking for y'all's approval of the tax roll, which y'all accepted it, and then you can move on to the next item, if you're okay with that. Can we take a motion on that, or can we take a motion on accepting the tax roll?
That's your business, sir. You gonna add anything else? Okay, let me, anybody else need any questions? Let me see. I have jotted down some. Well, no, what about any pending appeals that they might have, or losses, anything, you don't know yet?
I don't know, no, sir.
That might be that.
I do intend on making a meeting, I do wanna make the president.
Understand?
It's tomorrow. Tomorrow at 6:00.
And collection debt, from Lineberger was pretty good, right?
They stayed 94, 95.
That's what it is. It's good. Okay. I don't have any more. Anybody else have any questions? There are not any questions. Do I hear a motion to? Accept payroll. Motion made by Councilman Fran Trevino. Do I hear a second?
Okay.
Seconded by Councilwoman Sonia Hernandez. There's no more discussions. All in favor? Aye. Aye. We have, yeah, motion carries unanimous. Yeah, it's on the business, it is the action item, but up there, they won't accept it, so. The verbiage was to be accepted. That's it, that's what we got. Yeah, acceptance is not. All right, we're moving on, dude. No more questions? Got it? All right, we're moving on to the next one. 7B.
Brooke again.
Discuss and consider appointing Brooke Gandara to calculate the ad valorem tax rates for the 26-27 fiscal year. Christine Green, is she online?
It's not, look, on this end, Mayor, I've calculated the rate the past several years, passing the torch. We're helping her as we can, but she is gonna take it on and done really well.
Was
So,
she's gonna be on the wing of Green or somebody in there?
yeah, so Christine and I both helped her.
Okay.
Christine, because, we're all trying to get ready to take, she's doing the.
She needs to
doing
have
the
a thing in
legwork.
there.
We're just kind of watching.
Motion.
All right, motion made by Rachel,
Second.
seconded by Sonia Hernandez to go ahead and consider appointing Brooke Gandara, calculate the ad valorem tax. All in favor?
I
Motion carries unanimous. Moving on to 7C, you still there? Discuss and consider resolution number 2026-0801. A resolution authorizing the filing of the city of Pearsall's proposed annual appropriation budget for the fiscal year beginning October the 1st, 2026. Rick?
Yes, sir. Mayor and council, we have filed the budget, proposed budget, it's in, city clerk has it, we're asking for this resolution to be approved. Brooke is gonna go over some of the changes that were made before, after, we had our discussion. So we did make some changes, to try to make some cuts. She's gonna go over some of the changes and then after that, go over the proposed tax rate. Like I said, because of the values, there needs to be some consideration. We did cut some things from the budget. We're looking to potentially, I don't anticipate adding more. We anticipate if there's gonna be anything cutting more. But right now, what we have is Brooke is gonna give you a summary of some of the changes that we made prior to filing. And again, we're looking for the resolution, this proposed budget will be put online. And, the resolution will be attached, and I think we have to, what else do we have to file? There's a newspaper. We have to get hearings, we have to get, so you all know we have got hearing on the proposed budget. And I believe we also have to have a hearing on the budget itself, on the proposed tax rate and the budget, excuse me. So, but you wanna go over some of the changes so they have an idea of what some of the changes?
Okay, so before we received the certified values from the appraisal office, we had the ad valorem tax at about 2 million. So then we had to decrease that after we received the news that about 14 million decrease in certified value. So then that is causing us to increase a little bit of our use of fund balance for the general fund by about 100,000. So we'll still be in compliance with the GFOA guidelines of at least 4 months of fund balance. And then we decreased quite a bit from the admin budget we took out for the pool, but we also added for ACOG, the transportation. And then we decreased about 50,000 in streets for the repairs of the roadways, just 50,000.
We have put 100.
The additional.
Estimated was 500, decrease about 50,000. Okay.
We took out the full budget, I think the full set, if you remember, was 150,000, I believe. So Brooks, you give a clarity, we are asking for the proposed budget to approve the transportation funding, they call it the route system. There's a budget line item in there of $100,000. We still are asking other entities if they're willing to cooperate, but we're gonna budget the money. But if we could, again, get some assistance, so the idea for us is to continue with ACOG, and hopefully have a transportation, the route system, hopefully in place by October, November this coming year. So we're still in, be in discussion with ACOG, assuming the council approves the budget. We did develop some things from, prisoner services.
It's from 75 to 25,000.
And we deducted also items from the legal services. We believe that our legal woes will be better. I won't say much more than that. And there's been some other cuts. But we did try to make cuts to try to make it where it hopefully stress the importance of some of our priorities. But we want to go over these a little bit. I'm not sure there's other things I forgot. I can't really any of them.
So initially in the utility fund, we had a transfer in or the use of fund balance at about 1 million, but I had failed to input some information. So now our use of fund balance for the utility fund is now at around 500,000. So yeah. That is about it.
Those are some but there has been changes to the budget. Some changes again, they're not a lot, and just to offset all of the losses. And I say losses in the sense that, yeah, this year's it's been public. I think as far as like trying to come up with a tax rate, and it is we're gonna go over the tax rate in a minute. Some of the post tax rate and get your thoughts behind that. But it's been a tough year. Yeah, that's all.
I don't know on the rate that increasing or increasing. Also matters on the average single household, single mom, did you have something on that, Brett?
I think,
From last year, this year, what is the difference? See what we're looking at.
I think the average household, we look at, we go back to that tax roll, Crystal, we go back to the tax roll question. I'm gonna show you, I think I showed what it's gonna do. If you go back to one of those sheets, it'll show you the average tax rate of the average of per home, of what the value is per home per person.
Average
So
value.
it's still, we look at the taxable value
You
on,
go up, because Mayor Patsy.
Makes sense.
yeah, taxable value there. Average homestead is 78, average homestead, you look at A, so what we look at is the. Is that homestead, and it's $83,000, and then the average. There, I know there's for every one of them has, they've got an example, I think it's the top right, Crystal. Go to the top right there, it doesn't work through. Okay, maybe it doesn't have that, I know it's the same. So if you look at the average homestead is $83,000. If you multiply that times, would you multiply that times the.
When you say 83,000,
Yes. That's the average homestead value of this property here in Pearsall. There's, you see how they have the three, there's four actual categories?
Right.
0.00866.
718.78.
That is the average, that is on average what taxpayers are paying
So
for.
now I gotta do a times 0.88. So 3 minutes.
Yes.
$2.
So it's a difference of about $2. So that's where we did some of our information, so, and then when we start looking at, I believe M1, so if you look at those are the average values M1, the average taxable value for, those are mobile homes. That's the average value for taxable value for mobile homes. So yeah, there is a difference between stick-built homes and your mobile homes. So you see the values there is about 31,715 is what the average person pays to pay, for mobile home. Now, that very well could be separate from the land because you have a mobile home and then the land is. So there may be two different, I don't know the details, but anyway, that's the extent of what Brooke is gonna be describing. That's what we are, hope that helps, Mayor. Have any other questions about that?
No, it's $12, I'm sorry, Fred. It was $12.
$12.
So it was 718 and then it was 720, 730. $12.
83,000.
Not $83.
83,000. All right.
That's what.
Do we have any other questions for Brooke or for Fred on this item to propose the minimum tax rate? No other questions, no other discussions, nothing thing. Do I hear a motion to?
Second,
Okay, motion by Sonia
second.
and seconded by Rachel. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, unanimous. Thank you. Going down to 7B, discuss and consider ordinance number 2026-08. 01.
02.
I believe.
Yes.
That was to propose the budget, Mayor.
Yes, you're on 7B, Mayor.
Oh, 7.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Okay, that doesn't get this, I'm sorry. I apologize. 70, discuss and consider resolution number 2026-08-02 to propose. So I need to rephrase the motion on the other one, right? Because I think I proposed the motion was to the medical arm tax at 866. So. Mr. Attorney, not here.
Where is it? Bobby's on the call.
He's on.
Bobby is on there. Hey,
Bobby.
Bobby, what do they need to do to resend that motion from earlier to, for the previous item? I think Mayor inadvertently referenced,
That's right.
tax rate. It should have been, accepting the annual appropriations, but
Appropriation, yes.
Can you run that by me again, Fred? I couldn't hear you very well.
the mayor, we inadvertently, the last item, we inadvertently, approved the, tax rate, and we should have approved the filing of the proposed annual appropriations budget. What do we need to do to correct that, or what do they need to do as far as?
Rescind our motion,
Rescind our motions.
rescind our motion.
Rescind the motion, is that the best way to handle it?
Yes. So are we talking about 7B?
Yes. C.
7C,
We were on
7C, Mayor.
7C.
7C and cat.
Yeah,
you approved 7B instead of 7C.
yeah, we discussed 7C and then I accidentally, read got a motion to propose that alarm tax rate. Instead of what was the proposed annual appropriation budget.
Okay. Yes, we've got to do it in the right order.
Okay. So,
Yes.
Just rescind it.
Yeah, let's just go back. Yeah, let's go back and do it in the right order. So you said 7A was approved, 7C was approved, but not B?
No, 7B was, A and B were approved, 7C was not. 7C was not approved.
Instead of adding the right verbiage for seven C, I added the verbiage for seven D. I'm trying to approve the seven C.
It was approved.
Yes, yes. Oh, you can simply, do you have a motion and second on the floor?
Yes, they're already passed, everybody voted in favor.
Oh, you already voted in favor?
Yes.
Take up and reconsider the item. And go ahead and dismiss it, not dismiss it, but basically take it up and reconsider. You need to, and I apologize for not following. You need to adopt the right language for 7C. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yes, but we voted on the right language for seven D. And that was past seven D, so we need to rescind the seven D somehow and get back to seven C.
Yes. Go ahead and take up and reconsider 7B. And then just vote to set it aside and take up the items in the right order and just go back to it. If that makes sense.
Oh, well, say it again, see what makes sense the second time.
So let me see if I can follow. So you approved 7A the way it's stated in the agenda.
Yes, but.
Then you went on to 7B.
Yes.
And was that approved the way it
That was
was read?
approved, too. 7B was approved, so we were on seven C. We
Okay.
discussed and all that, and then when I make the motion to go ahead and do it, I was supposed to read for the appropriation budget, not, and I read accidentally for proposed ad valorem text from seven D.
Got it. On
Everybody
7C.
voted on that one.
So we just
Yes.
rescind it.
Go. I would take up and reconsider item 7C. And I would basically just reverse the process. Take up and reconsider a motion to
reconsider.
Yeah, motion to reconsider 7C.
Okay,
Okay, I'll motion to reconsider 17,
got it.
And then open it up for a new motion.
and then second is Sonia.
Sonia, okay, and so all in favor to read?
So all in favor?
All in favor? Motion carries, yeah. Okay,
Now we have to review D or leave it?
So I would hope y'all approve the budget. D is gonna have to be a record vote. Mayor, before we approve it, we'd like to have a discussion on 7B.
yes,
That
correct.
way we can read the item and then we can have a discussion after that.
No, we don't need to rescind the motions on seven D. Do we need to rescind the motions on seven D?
You need some vote on it. So what you voted for right now is to take it up and to reconsider, so you still need to actually do a motion
Yes.
and a vote for 7C.
Yeah,
So that's still okay.
You already did
Yeah,
it.
So how do we get out of the, well, my question is, how do you get out of the seven D that we approved?
Rescind it, Sonia needs to
Did-
return, I rescind mine, and then we'll redo it.
Didn't you approve?
I motion to rescind the motion on seven D.
Okay, your
And
second,
I rescind my second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we just dismissed out, let's go back to C.
Yeah.
Okay,
We're gonna
does that hold ground?
Yeah, and now you
I
just
know,
need to
but we got a
you need to do a motion on the actual 7C.
Yes,
item.
we got a motion now. Are we fine with that, Bob?
Yes.
Okay, all right, do I hear a motion
Motion,
to authorizing the filing of the city of Pearsall proposed annual appropriation budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2026?
motion.
Motion made by Rachel,
Sure.
seconded by Sonia, all in favor? Motion carries, done. All right, now we're going to 7D. Now we'll do item 7D, discuss and consider resolution number 2026-08-02 to propose an ad valorem tax rate of 0.866624 for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2026, and establish September 8th, 2026 respectively as the public hearing date for the proposed property tax rate for the city of Pearsall for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2026 and ending September 30th, 2027. Right.
Discussion on that.
Discussion, yes.
Yes, before we go, that tax rate there, the reason that's there is because that's the tax rate for this meeting, this was past year.
Uh-huh.
What George is gonna describe to you is what we're asking for this year,
Yes.
the rate, and so the reason that was there, because we didn't get our values until. So by the time we actually had to prepare the agenda, we had to basically use this rate. So we'll go over the difference between this rate and what we're requesting. And then, that'll have to be a record vote, council members. So as you move forward, you'll see in the packet. You wanna go ahead and go over the proposed tax rate?
Right, can I ask a question before you even start? How are we gonna be able to do this? Cause you put I'm just confused. 0.866, and you're saying it's supposed to be 0.888 or whatever.
Yeah.
How can we do that if this was not posted? This
Well,
agenda was
yeah,
posted like this.
We posted at the end of the agenda posting is that it's subject to change because it's discussed, it's considerations. So as you're saying, I
It's
guess.
going to be in,
Consideration.
You can, like anything else, you can change it.
Okay.
And the council, you can not do it, I mean, you could go ahead
exactly,
and.
already know what paper is.
So.
What are you recommending?
You got the proposed tax rate.
So the budget that we're proposing for fiscal year 2026 to 2027, we're requiring an adjustment from this current year 0.86624 to 0.88 per $100 of the taxable valuation. Although the tax rate that we're proposing is slightly higher, it would still cause us to generate a decrease in our property tax revenue by about 80,000, which is a 2.41% decrease. The budget includes approximately 37,696 in revenue from new property added to the tax roll. So for our proposed budget, like I mentioned earlier, we're still planning on using fund balance to support the one-time expenditures for this upcoming fiscal year. So this use of fund balance, it will be within the GFOA at least 4 months of fund balance. So in September of next year, we are looking to pay in full bond obligation. So that will also help to reduce the future debt service requirements for upcoming years, which will give us some flexibility for our upcoming budgets as well. To improve capital improvements and infrastructure needs.
So the tax rate, the current tax rate we're proposing will be 88 cents. It still doesn't give us the same amount of revenue that it's giving us less revenue this year.
But it would still cause us to use less of a fund balance than as if we were to keep it the 0.866.
Compared to this year compared to last year, we're actually getting, we're proposing to have less revenue. Even if the tax rate is increasing, the revenue amount is decreasing. So it's still, I mean, that's what I'm saying, it's been challenging, because it's the first for us. So we normally have kept the tax rates at the same, I think since I've been to the past 5 or 6 years, the tax rates are still the same. We only adjusted it. This will be the first year where we're asking for adjustment, an increase, for that. I think it was 1 year that we did ask for an increase, and that was, we went back down to the proposed, 866, and we've been at 866 for years. So, that's what we're looking for. And again, as part of the vote, at the council, if we decide that, that we want to keep the tax rate the same, then we'll just cut that much more. I mean, I hate to say the word cut that much more. We have to make some cuts, additional cuts, and changes to the budget.
So offline, how much additional cost, how much money?
We're looking at additional, my assumption, again, based on what we're talking about, we're talking probably an additional, I'd say at least, I'm guessing correctly, I would say, say about $80,000. I would say about $80,000 defects that we would make to keep the tax rate the same. There's been some considerations to balance the budget altogether. The fund balance, what was that? What's it from that?
For the general fund, it was about 600,000 for fund balance.
We could, we could go as far as cutting, quite frankly, to balance it, we can go as far as cutting 600,000. To balance it all.
Fred, but the reason we're going up is because the 14 million that we're gonna be losing, is that?
Well, the values, again, we have not, we just submitted. And, so we have to answer your question, we lost more, we lost value, and that hurt us. That hurt us in the sense, I mean, we hurt him, but I think the other entities are probably hurting just as much or more. So it's been different for this year because we did lose value. And like anything else, I mean, we're seeing our costs go up. I mean, from fuel costs to everything else. You know, we're still trying to support the programs. We still think the home program's good. We think the transportation program's good. We think the, you know, streets, we've been doing that, providing for law enforcement. So there's things that we're trying to do, but again, you know, it all comes at some expense, if you will, but that's what we're kind of tossing. We want to hear from y'all as a council to see what y'all's thoughts are, because at the end of the day, we can propose it, but you guys have to vote on it and decide how you want to move. So,
This has to do with the. Employees too, right?
yes, and we are proposing as a council, we did propose a 3% increase across the board, that's in there. We anticipate, quite frankly, and we don't have this quite figured out yet, simply because we don't have the numbers yet, but our insurance rates are going up, insurance is going up. Employee insurance is expensive, so we have a lot, we all have a lot to contend with.
Employees haven't gotten a raise in a long time, so I think. they should get-
And the insurance is going up.
Right.
Some change.
Hey, y'all haven't raised taxes in over 5 years, right?
We try to keep the tax rate the same, and that's part of what we are, you know, it's, and even, I believe with, I believe the tax rate we're gonna use, if we decide to go with the 88 cents. I don't believe that requires a hearing, or they may require a hearing, but I don't think there's not notice of an increase of taxes, because it's not an increase of taxes. It's not, there's not, I'll verify that to make sure, but I believe that because we're bringing in less revenues, it doesn't, you know, that notice doesn't need to go out. So we're saying that we're gonna increase taxes, and in practice, we're not increasing taxes, we're, as far as our actual. What we're bringing in, tax rate and values, we're bringing in less revenue. So that's where we are, council,
So Fred, there's this resolution, it says there 0.866.
yes, sir.
So,
We're asking to change that to 0.8.
so
It's gonna change.
they're gonna change.
That's right.
That paper, do they have it right now like that, or do they have to put on the side of the way?
No. What we're doing is that we're
Yes, consider it.
discussing it because
The
it
whole-
needs to change, the resolution needs to change, that's why we're bringing it. to
We're
the
asking on the
table.
motion that you consider, that again,
Consider it
you
change.
can easily motion, I mean, I'm gonna tell you, I can't tell you how to vote, but I can tell you, you can easily motion to keep it at rate, or you can, again, our recommendation is to have it at 88 cents.
No, we need to do it, Fred, regardless, but
So
don't you?
you're not agreeing, to be clear, you're not agreeing to increase taxes today.
No,
You're gonna have that also to approve at a later date, so.
and
right
I
now,
think that, and I think that like, Rachel was saying that, I think all the council members should be here so they can all vote on it. You know,
And also after the meeting tomorrow, maybe get a clearer understanding, I mean, of everything that's there. And that's a meeting at the president. Deal to see what's going on and what. And we are missing 1, 2, three. I mean, we can fit with a 2, the emotion, we can carry it, we can do anything.
Because we have timelines for taxes. We need a vote today, and then again, if you wanna change the tax rate at some other meeting, but make sure all the other ones are here with you.
just make a motion for it.
Consider.
Consider
That's gonna be at the.
Motion to consider.
anybody else that's not here has.
Before we move forward, Fred, the only other question I have, I know that we've also been talking about the gas.
Yes.
So are we gonna,
The gas system will be on the agenda. We're asking the mayors make calls, I make calls. We'd like to discuss that with y'all at the next meeting. Because I think we've heard some good news, some good things. In the sense that it's not as painful as maybe people think it is. And I say that, I don't want to speak for everybody, but it is something that we do need to consider moving forward. But that would be especially for this coming meeting, regularly. Next week.
We can consider this and maybe change the date when we need to.
Well, I make a motion to consider the resolution.
Number 2026-08-01, motion made by Sonia Hernandez.
second,
At 88 cents,
Yes. At 88 cents, okay, and seconded by Ramiro Trevino, on favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous.
you guys have to take the, I'm just gonna take the record vote, just to make sure.
Yes.
And
Right
I think
now,
I'll have to take the record, vote.
When we meet again, we'll have the paper corrected to 88
Yes.
cents, right?
If we change to A, we will have it.
Okay.
okay,
That's what will be, this will be out in the paper, this will go, this will be out on the paper for the public to see. So we, that rate will be the, Christmas table rates, whatever they are.
Y si
So-
la gente comienza a hablar y decir que por qué necesitamos que ir de la verdad. I mean, they need to know why we have to do this.
For record vote, George Cavazos, mayor, unable to vote. James Leal, mayor pro tem, not present. Ramiro Trevino, how do you vote?
For.
Sonia Hernandez, how do you vote? For. Miranda R. Gutierrez, not present. Rachel Garza, how do you vote? For. Aurora Garza, not present. Rodney Edusto, how do you vote?
Or
I don't have to sign that paper, that's not picking out.
Alright, we move on to 70, we're ready? No further, right? Okay, 70, discuss and consider ordinance number 2026-08-01. Providing for the approval of the 2026-27 utility rates for the city of Pearsall in accordance with the 5-year series of water, sewer, natural gas, and solid waste utility rate increases to be effective October 1st, 2025. And each October 1st thereafter to October 1st, 2029.
Type 2025.
What was it? 2025, right?
Already have.
It's the one that y'all adopted last year.
That's-
Mayor, I'm gonna ask if possible, I'd like to table this for the next meeting. The reason for that is there's two reasons, but primarily the solid waste rates. We received a contract, a contract from Republic Services. So I'm gonna, for those of y'all that are new to the council, I just kind of will go over this with y'all, so y'all are aware. This ordinance here, this basically is an ordinance that was approved in 2025, so it's a series of 5-year increases to utilities. It's over a 5-year period, which began in 2025. So. I'm trying to put my glasses in. I just wanted, these increases have increases for residents, for customers, for water, wastewater, gas system, and solid waste. The challenge, and I'm not gonna go over all of these, but what I do want to show you all is on the two things that we need to consider is gonna be on solid waste rates. So you go to that page, Kristen, solid waste. You there?
Yes, sir.
So you go to solid waste rates. Part of what you'll see here on N 127, N 126, those are the rates that we will be charging customers. We, the city of Greece, charge 2567. Where's flash? Sorry. Inside city.
proposed solid rate, waste, residential,
Why do I have it wrong? Wrong.
And then-
2567.
senior
Well, that's
citizen.
2567. All right. Where is?
Down by one more. 45, 67.
That's for senior citizens. The solid waste for residential is right here.
Okay.
It's 20.
So on a regular charge inside city limits is 30.55. So what we have to look at, what I'm looking at is looking at the rates that Republic charges us. So we charge the customer, Republic charges us. These rates have to cover what, at the minimum, what Republic charges us. So part of what we look at and what I'm gonna have, quite frankly, I'm gonna need Jeff to look at is these rates are gonna, this one may not have to change, but there's others that's gonna have to change. Because there's things that, assuming that we go on the Republic contract. Again, it's not cheap, solid waste services, so they submitted a contract, I think last week, can't remember now, but they gave us, I think, last Tuesday or Wednesday. So I just need some time to go over these rates with Jeff, our rate consultant, to make sure that we're gonna be covered on what we agreed to with the Republic Services.
Yeah.
And then being fair with this, with our citizens, and if it's something that we, you know, as y'all know, some of y'all have been approached by different vendors regardless. So again, it's expensive, but to me, it's an expensive service, but we do make sure we're covered for the rates that Republic wants to charge us. I can't share the rates for comparative reasons that Republic has provided.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that there needs to be some changes to what we have here. If we decide to go with that contract, and Republic can make some adjustments to their rate structure as it stands right.
That's just that.
Yes, so I just need some changes, and the other one's gonna be on the gas system. You gonna work the gas system next week? Those are the two things that we need to clarify. The gas system as right now, those are the rates and the increases. You're gonna go, I mean, it goes up some, but not very much. So anyway, those are the new increases, but that's what that means. So whenever we look at charging customers, this is what we charge customers that have their connections. Residential customers, there's different rates. For commercial customers, there's different rates for inside city limits, outside city limits. Senior center, senior discounts. There's different rates for every all of that. So I just want to make sure that the council's clear that some of those will change, and primarily, a lot of it, as far as the cost, we're all paying. I mean, everybody pays, but it does, a lot of it does, commercial businesses do pay a pretty good chunk, I mean, for their services. This is relates to solid waste. But anyway, I just want to make sure, and I would like to table that item. Yes.
Can you educate us on going out for bids? Do we have to go out for bids, or do we have to, there's a way that we don't need to?
It's
Get an idea, maybe somebody else out there is.
It's a preferred, my assumption is probably the best practice to go out for proposals, but, and Bobby can correct me if I'm wrong. But if you need trash services, because if you don't have trash services, it becomes a public health issue. My understanding is you could hire somebody outright, you could contract with whoever. But Bobby, is that fair to say, or is that something that I need to be careful with? I don't know if he's on the call or not.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, what was that, Fred?
Bobby, can we hire somebody just outright for trash services, or do we need to go out for proposals? I know it's recommended that we go out for proposals, but do we need to do that? If the council decides just to hire somebody, if things don't work out with Republic, but we don't have, say, the amount of time to execute a proposal or RFP and issue, request for proposals, to give us enough time to change services or change providers. Can we do that?
Yeah, there are only two people you can hire without doing anything, and that's lawyers and garbage people.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, good.
Just us two.
You say,
We can just hire somebody outright. Sounds good.
Yes, you can.
Okay, just want to make sure. So to answer your question, Mayor, it sounds like we can just hire somebody.
That was my question, okay.
Listen,
Thank you, sir.
that's all I have. Just so we can table that out.
Okay.
Motion to table item.
I hear a motion to table, yes,
Second.
motion to table by Sonia Hernandez,
Second.
ordinance number 2026-0801. Seconded by Rachel Garza, all in favor? Motion carries. Unanimous. Moving on, general announcements. No general announcements, anybody? Nothing general? Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Rachel, seconded by Sonia, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously. Meeting now adjourned at exactly 7:08.
That's all.